Hi, I'm Jamie. That's Jerry. And this is OneWriter in 5 minutes. And the subject of this video is sending in OneWriter. This is our 10th video on OneWriter, and we're glad to share it with you. And if you happen to be joining us for the first time, we highly recommend that you watch our first two videos, an introduction to OneWriter Part 1 and Part 2. However, this video is a great way to learn about OneWriter. So if you're interested in trying a new and useful writing app, you can use OneWriter for free right now by going to onewriter.app. Now, let's get into sending in OneWriter. And by the way, stick around because in about 2 minutes, Jerry is going to present the fruit of the day. OneWriter, it's a word processor and a spreadsheet in one app. So let's continue our deeper dive into OneWriter's features that can offer efficiency and productivity to your writing process. This video will focus on sending, and that means sending your work in different formats to different places. For example, you can send your OneWriter project as a PDF in an email or a spreadsheet to a printer. And you can also send your OneWriter project as a docx formatted file to a folder on your device or to the cloud. In OneWriter, you can send your project in different formats to different places. And those formats and places are the most common formats and places most users are already experienced with. Let's jump right into this. We'll start by opening a fresh project in the application. So to start, open Chrome browser and navigate to onewriter.app. We'll enter an email address and click Start Writing. For this demonstration, I'll be using a pre-designed template file, which I'll open in the app now. I'll start by clicking on the menu icon in the upper left-hand corner of the interface, and then from my desktop, I'll select the file, Sample Project for Sending.onewriter. In this example project, we'll be using two cards. Let's briefly take a closer look at the content in the project, and this will help us understand how we can control what we send. With the project loaded into the app, we can see the project name matches the file we selected, Sample Project for Sending. Each card has some style text in its main text box, and some style text is in the annotation text boxes as well. Each card also has a custom card title, and each card also has one or more tags applied to it from the tag library. Now that we've reviewed the content in this sample project, let's send it. To send the project, navigate to the top right corner of the interface over the button labeled Send with the paper airplane icon and click it. Clicking Send immediately opens the OneWriter Send view. Let's take a moment to explore this new interface. One of the key things to understand is that when you're viewing your project in Send view, you're using a tool to prepare your project to be sent. If you want to make edits to your project, you'll need to return to the Writer view, which we had just previously viewed. So, if for any reason you want to return to Writer view, navigate to the bottom of the interface and click on the last button that reads Return to Writer view. And from there, you can toggle back to the Send view by clicking the Send button again. Please note that when you initially open OneWriter with a fresh session, it will always open in Writer view. Viewing your project in Send view always requires navigating to this view by clicking on the Send button as we just demonstrated. Now let's start exploring Send view. On the left, we have some settings, and on the right, we have a preview of how our project will look when we send it. So far, it looks pretty basic and spot on for how the text is in our project's two cards that were filled with content. Using the setting controls, we can modify this view in various ways so we can include all of our extra metadata and also how we format the text and the project. First, navigate to the first setting and select To a Folder. Then navigate to the second setting and let's change the send format from document to spreadsheet. You'll notice right away the project's content is now organized in a spreadsheet table. This is a good start, but we can customize it further by deciding what type of file format we want to send and also choose to include more metadata from our project. Next, navigate to the third setting group and select PDF. Then navigate to the fourth setting and let's select all the additional metadata we can include in the project. And notice how, as we select more metadata, it appears in our project's Send preview. Let's add project name, card title, card metadata, tags, annotations, timestamp, and page numbers. Now we've included everything that was in our project and we're ready to send it. So let's navigate to the button at the bottom labeled Send It and click it. The application has now been saved as a PDF to the computer's desktop, or, depending on your browser settings, to the default folder for saved files. Now let's apply a little more customization to our send preview to demonstrate how you can change how the project can be sent. In the first setting, we'll select Printer. Then, in the second setting, we'll switch back to document format. You can observe that the preview has changed back to appear as a document from the spreadsheet format we had previously set it to. We'll ignore the third setting for now, as file types don't apply when sending to a physical printer. In the fourth setting group, we'll select all 7 selections again, starting with project name through page numbers. Now, let's add some additional customization here. Navigate over the fifth setting selection and change it from styled content to content without styling. And we can observe that the style text from our project's cards and annotations has been removed. Don't worry, it's still there. Remember, when you're working in SendView, we're not editing our project. We're only adjusting how we will send it. Just to make that point clear and offer some reassurance, we can always toggle back to the styled content, and we can verify in the preview the text styling has been reapplied. Now, returning to the setting of content without styling, let's take a look at the 6th and 7th setting options. If you're joining us from the United States, it's common to send documents to a printer in a standard US letter format, which measures 8.5 by 11 inches. But for many others, it's more common to use the A4 standard. We'll leave this set to US letter since I'm presenting from New York. And then let's take a look at the final setting where we can switch from portrait format to landscape. We'll select landscape, and we can observe in a preview that our project is now rendered longer rather than taller. Then click the Send It button, and the application will prepare your project to be sent to a local printing device by opening the device's printing prompt from the browser. Depending on your browser, computer, and printing device setup, the printing prompt may appear differently. In this example, we're sending our project to an HP 9800 printer connected to a MacBook, and we're viewing the application in a project using Chrome browser. The last step is to click the print button, and that is how you send in OneWriter. And now it's time for Jerry to present the fruit of the day. And the fruit of the day is the lime. Why the lime? Well, limes, Jerry, and OneWriter all have one thing in common. They make really good use of the color green. Did you know the color green represents nature and harmony? We hope you have a harmonious experience when you use OneWriter. Now that we've shared some more of OneWriter's special features, we hope you will agree OneWriter is a useful writing tool. You can try OneWriter for free right now by going to onewriter.app. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.